Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Houston.
Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's game 2 of this 3-game series between the Astros and the St. Louis Cardinals. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Cardinals again trying to be a wild card entry into the playoffs. The Astros trying to derail them, and St. Louis has a sizable winning streak against Houston. JD.
Indeed they do. The Astros couldn't get much going offensively last night. Tonight they turned their attention to left-hander Jaime Garcia, a guy that they have really handled. And for the Astros, it's Lucas Harrell. You see the numbers on Garcia, 5-7, 4.25 ERA. 0-3 in his career in this ballpark with an ERA above 8. Lucas Harrell has one of the best home ERAs in all of baseball.
And Lucas Harrell is from the show-me state of Missouri. Will he show the Cardinals tonight? They've given him some rough outings in his career. Can he beat the Redbirds? We'll find out in just a moment.
Cardinals in the second game of this 3-game series. The Astros have taken the field where Lucas Harrell will pitch. Meanwhile, up in the booth, Bill Brown and Jim DeShays will announce. Guys?
Hey, we're ready to go, Greg, and we have a look at your maneuverings here coming from the set of Astros Live. We're down to a skeleton crew now, JD, and he has to hustle all over this ballpark.
This is tremendous. Watch this. You knocked over a couple old ladies, bumped this guy off, ran over that girl, spilled her beer and her hot dog.
I didn't think I was that fast,
Look at
Gil.
that. And security waiting for him. This is very, look at that. Microphone in case he needs it.
Boy,
Yeah, but you know what? I did forget something. All the copy that I read during the game, they got to send the guy out to pick it up for me.
Oh, man.
But I got to my spot. I got to my spot.
You got people. You got people. See, you got people opening doors, people going to get your clipboard.
That's right.
It's good to be the king.
What happens when you're rushing, and you are rushing.
That's it.
Hyundai shows you the Cardinals starting lineup with John Jay leading it off in center field, Matt Carpenter at third base, Matt Holliday left field, Alan Craig first base, Yadier Molina catcher, Carlos Beltran right field, Daniel Descalzo at second base, Pete Cosma the shortstop, Jaime Garcia the pitcher.
Astros trying to knock off the Cardinals, and Lucas Harrell 2-2 with the 6.14 ERA against St. Louis this year. Overall at home, he's been quite good. 12 starts. He's 6-2 with a 2.26 ERA. That home ERA is the fourth best in the National League.
And as he goes to work here, it's John Jay to greet him. And Jay has hit well against the Astros this season. Taking the first one just off the plate, ball one. Mark Carlson is calling the balls and strikes tonight. Jay at 300 has 4 homers. He's driven in 35. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Jay in last night's game was hitless. He made quite a catch in center. Angel Hernandez, the crew chief, is at first base. Jay 3 for 20 on the road trip. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Ed Hickox at second. Chris Conroy at third on this umpiring crew. Cardinals begin the night with a 3.5 game lead in the wild card race for the second wild card spot. Rolled up the middle, and that goes into center field. Not hit hard, but Jay found a good placement for that ground ball single.
Now, they were playing him strong pull, and he was able to push that ball up the middle for a knock. Defensively, the Astros have Maxwell Barnes and Paredes in the outfield. Jimmy getting a rare start. Matt Downs is going to get a start at first base tonight. Laird for the second straight night at third.
Matt Carpenter filling in at third base for the injured David Freese, who rolled his ankle before last night's game. Checks in at 304 with 6 homers. He's driven in 44 with a 372 on base average for Carpenter. Carpenter looks it over. There's ball one to him. Carpenter had a couple of hits and a walk last night.
Jay capable of stealing a base. The Cardinals might think about a little run and hit too, with Harrell on the mound, a guy who gets a lot of ground ball outs. Astros looking for 2 in the middle of the diamond.
Carpenter takes it. It's in for a strike. This is the 5th time Harrell has faced the Cardinals this year. He's won both of his starts against them in Houston and lost both of his starts in St. Louis.
Including last time out, he was a 5-0 loser in St. Louis in his last start. He threw the ball well, allowed 3 runs in 5 2/3, gave up a couple of home runs, which is pretty rare for him.
Now Carpenter is at 2-1 in the count.
Lucas has only allowed 13 home runs all year. And that start last time, only the second time all season he's allowed more than 1 home run in a game. He struck out 7 in that game, walked just 1.
Throw goes over. Matt Carpenter, 26 years old, from Galveston, Texas. Went to Elkins High School and then TCU, 3-time Mountain West selection. And he had just 15 major league at bats last season, so he has to be one of those guys the Cardinals look at as a pleasant surprise this season with the amount of playing time and production he's had. He hits that one out to left field, and it's caught by Maxwell. 1 down for Harrell. Carpenter's had 277 at bats this season for the Redbirds. For David Freese, he was in the indoor batting cage right before the game started, and he rolled over that ankle, so sounds as if he might be out a little while. Matt Holliday at 297 has 27 homers, 100 runs batted in, 884 OPS, and he got 2 runs batted in last night to reach the century mark for the season.
Well, Freese, one of the guys in the Cardinal lineup who's been awfully tough on Harrell this year. Freese was 5 out of 10 against him with a home run.
Holliday has a 6-game hitting streak. He had a 2-run single in the game last night. Throw goes over. John Jay with 18 steals has been caught 7 times. The Redbirds have won 9 straight from the Astros. Holiday's 4 for 12 against Harrell. St. Louis 10-3 against Houston this season. The home field advantage has been pretty noticeable for the Astros. They lost all of their games, all 6 of them in St. Louis, but they are 3-4 against the Cardinals here this year. Redbirds are 37-42 away from St. Louis. Pitch is outside, and it's 2 balls, no strikes to Holiday.
Harrell will sink and cut his fastball. He'll throw both. He throws a lot of them. Throws a lot of fastballs. Gets good movement to both sides of the plate. Curveball and a changeup that he'll throw to left-handed hitters. So far, he's been leaning heavily on the fastball, and it's not uncommon. You know, he throws his fastball a high percentage of the time. So he's a little bit out of sync here, and you know, again, this has been a common theme with the Astros in recent games. Early on, really paying attention to potential base stealers. And I think that really cheats the pitcher out of his rhythm some. Early on, you're just trying to settle in out there. And at times, it seems like the Astros are obsessing about base runners in the first inning like you would in the 7th inning of a tight game. And, you know, to a degree, you can understand it because it's an offensively challenged club, and you're always wary of, you know, giving up any runs.
Bragg makes it 3-1.
Sometimes the desire to prevent that 1 run from scoring and working so hard to do that sets the pitcher up for giving up the big inning. Happened in the Lyles game the other day.
Throw goes over to first, and it hits the runner and trickles away from Matt Downs. Now, Tony D was talking about that tonight around the batting cage. Got the throws to first base. Here's another one. And that did plunk him in the right hip area. Just trying to cut down on the stolen base attempts by those repeated throws over. Trying to keep that runner out of scoring position. Trying to make it so he doesn't score from first all the time on a double.
Right, and that's a legitimate strategy, but there's a downside to it, and Holiday just works along. When you put the pitcher in that defensive frame early on of throwing over, he's just trying to get his feet under him here to start the ball game.
Now 2 men on, 1 out for Alan Craig. Craig's had quite a year. Solid numbers for Allen, playing first base tonight with a .308 average, 22 homers, 89 runs batted in, and he's at .354 with those numbers along that bottom line. Very impressive against the Houston club.
Nothing for 5 last night. A couple of days ago, that number was like .420 for Craig against the Astros. The heart of the Cardinal order, 1 through 4 anyway, last night did nothing. They had 1 hit. Holiday, they were 1 out of 19, the top 4 in the order, but it was all the guys down at the bottom of the Cardinal batting order that inflicted damage.
Bragg has gone 6 for 18 on this road trip, which began in Chicago, with the Cardinals winning 2 of 3. Broken bat. It goes off the glove of the diving Matt Downs, and the bases are loaded. All kinds of havoc on that one. Downs diving. Knocked it down, but it'll go as an infield hit for Craig on the broken bat.
Ball moves off the barrel in towards the handle a little bit. Catches him around the label. Shatters the bat. Downs lays out. Lucas hadn't really broken anyway, so there wasn't going to be a play at first base, and the Cardinals set up shop with the bases juiced.
1 out with Molina coming up. And they talk it over with Doug Brocale at the mound. This 9-game winning streak for the Cardinals over the Astros matches their longest ever. They also won 9 straight over an Astro club back in July 1971. That extended through April 29th of 72. Molina, who was driven in 71, has 21 homers, and his batting average is 4th best in the league at .321.
He hacks at that first pitch probably more than any other Cardinal hitter. So you got to be careful here. And a good start, a little two-seamer running back to the outside corner.
Molina's 5 for 10 against Harrell with a homer in that last game that JD mentioned in St. Louis. Last time out for Lucas. But the home venue has been much more friendly to Lucas Harrell with that 2.26 ERA. Fly ball to right field. There's the catch by Paredes, the tag, and the run scoring as Jay comes home. And the tag at second as well. Holiday going to third, 1-0 St. Louis. Molina gets his 72nd run batted in.
A good solid approach there by Molina with the bases loaded. The last thing he wants to do is hit the ball on the ground. So he works hard at staying inside the ball and getting it airborne.
Now with runners at first and third, 2 outs, it's Carlos Beltran coming up. With 30 homers, 91 runs batted in. Molina cashing in on this first scoring opportunity for the Redbirds, who are second in the league in runs scored. They've scored 730 runs. Beltran has driven in 91 of those. Fouled away, strike one. Lowry is up the middle as the infield shifts around on Beltran. Daniel Descalzo is on deck. Strike for Harrell. That makes it 0-2. Last night the Astros ran into injury problems with their starter Fernando Abad. He had to come out with an injury in the second inning, and Fernando Rodriguez went 4 1/3 innings in relief. So he's not available for a few days. Strike 3 call. Beltran caught looking. The Cardinals getting a run on 2 hits, leaving 2 in the top of the first inning. The Astros up against Jaime Garcia next. Now here in the bottom of the first inning, as these fans reach their seats, they might have missed a run scoring in this game, but they're hoping for the Astros to erupt here with the Hyundai starting lineup for Tony DeFrancesco, beginning with second baseman Jose Altuve. He's back from a groin injury at second base. Brandon Barnes is in center field with Jed Lowry at shortstop. The left fielder is Justin Maxwell. It's Matt Downs at first base, Brandon Laird at third base, Chris Snyder the catcher, Jimmy Paredes in right field, Lucas Harrell the pitcher.
26-year-old left-hander Jaime Garcia for the Cardinals tonight in Minute Maid Park. Has not been a friendly environment for him. He's made 5 starts. He's 0-3 with an ERA approaching 9.
First up, Jose Altuve, who says he should be good to go in all the remaining games now. Groin not bothering him anymore. And why wouldn't he want to be in the lineup against the Redbirds with his numbers against them? But there's a one hopper to third. Carpenter throwing across. 1 pitch, 1 out for Garcia. Today was Jose Altuve Day in Houston.
You know, the Cardinals defensively, Brownie mentioned it last inning. John Jay, a spectacular catch last night in center. Cosmo filling in at shortstop for Rafael Furcal. Very difficult shoes to fill. It's not a great defensive club that the Cardinals run out there.
No, not tremendous range. Brandon Barnes, the batter. He looks at strike one. 215 for Barnes. 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. Not a team with a lot of outfield assists or, you know, just spectacular glove work other than Molina. He is really, really solid. No balls, 2 strikes. Barnes is 2 for 7 against Cardinal pitching this season. Strike 3 call. Garcia's thrown 4 pitches and he has 2 outs.
Didn't take long.
No.
Garcia was not particularly sharp in his start against the Astros back in St. Louis last week, especially at the outset. Then he settled in and pitched pretty well, but he was really wobbly early with his command. 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, curveball, and changeup may be his best pitch. When he's on his game, he'll get a lot of ground ball outs.
Ball 1 to Jed Lowry. Lowry was the leadoff man last night. He extended his hitting streak to 8 games by going 2 for 4, and then another good play was made on him on a possible 3rd hit, and then he lined out to shortstop. Another time up, but Jed said he would prefer not to lead off, even though he had a fine game as the leadoff man for the first time for him this year. Ground ball, and there's Carpenter taking care of a rapid fire first for Garcia. Only 7 pitches for Jaime, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0. First inning with Daniel Descalzo. He gets the breaking ball, and it's ball 1. Descalzo at 226 has 4 homers, 24 runs batted in for Daniel. Third baseman Laird even with the bag. Harrell missing there. Falls behind 2-0 to Descalzo. Daniel in last night's game had 2 hits, one of them an RBI triple. Part of that bottom of the order offense JD was talking about.
It was a 2-out triple in the 2nd inning. After a walk to Carpenter, he tripled. Cosma hit a home run, and boom, just like that, the Cardinals had a 3-0 lead.
Harrell falls behind now, 3-1 with Cosma and Garcia to follow in the Cardinals' 2nd inning.
Well, usually pounds the strike zone, a little bit out of sorts so far tonight. Misfiring with that 2-seamer.
There he gets a grounder to Altuve. We go to Bart Ennis.
Thanks, Brownie. Holy Toledo, it's a Blue Star Gala saluting Hall of Fame broadcaster Milo Hamilton. Join us here at Minute Maid on Tuesday, October 16th as we celebrate Milo and his 27 seasons of broadcasting Astros baseball. It's going to be a great time. Cocktail reception, entertainment, dinner, and your sponsorship of this event benefits the Astros in Action Foundation, so it's a great cause. To reserve your table today, go to astros.com/community. And, man, what a Blue Star roster of folks going to be in town for that one, Brownie.
A lot of great names. Pete Kozma has homered in his last 2 games. There's strike 1 to Kozma, a .298 hitter with 2 homers, 7 runs batted in, 2 doubles and 3 triples in the early going of his major league career. He had just 17 at bats last season as a big leaguer. Fly ball to center field. Barnes waiting. 2 down. And it's Garcia coming up next, and Garcia is a threat. He has 8 hits and a .235 batting average.
Did you ever know a pitcher from Mexico that couldn't hit?
Not really. Milo's broadcast a few Fernando Valenzuela games now.
Fernando comes to mind. Giovanni Gallardo, he can break.
Right. Garcia has 2 runs batted in. So even though there are 2 outs, nobody on, can't take him for granted. And there's ball 1 to him. Chris Carpenter goes tomorrow night for the Redbirds. In the home finale for the Astros this season, Bud Norris will oppose him. Good numbers for Jaime Garcia. Slashes a line drive, and that's a fair ball on the left field line. It goes into the corner, and that is going to be a double for Garcia. His first double of the season. Hit number 9 for Jaime.
A little late, but a good looking stroke, and he just manages to keep it fair into the left field corner. RBI opportunity for John Jay now.
Jay opened the game with a single up the middle. He came around to score on the sac fly by Molina. Jay takes it for ball 1. Marlins and Braves are tied 1-1 in the middle of the 5th inning in the Chris Medlin show.
He gave up a run.
Yeah, he gave up a run. That's a good story. Ground ball. Lowry lays out for it. Can't get it. On through into center field. Garcia to the plate. And it's 2-0 Cardinals. RBI single. Jay. His 36th run batted in.
2 for 2, going right back up the middle both times. One to the second base side, this time on the shortstop side. Lowry with that injured leg just really limited in terms of his range.
He said he hates wearing it.
It's just a step and a dive.
But he's committed to keeping that knee brace on. He said when he works out before the game, he has great range of motion. But the deal is that he has to play with that brace on. So he can't move a whole lot from side to side. There's ball 1 to Carpenter. Carpenter hit a fly ball to left in the 1st inning. Part of the compromise to get Jed into the starting lineup in that brace so he doesn't further aggravate the leg injury that kept him out for 2 months.
Next year he could DH. Or anybody like him who's a little banged up could still swing the bat, but
you know, that's a good point.
Be limited in the field.
It really is. 1-1. You know, a lot of American League managers use the DH that way. If a guy needs a day off in the field, they DH him. That's off the end of the bat near the left field line. Maxwell coming over, and the fans watch out for it. They get a souvenir. The usual allotment of Cardinal fans here tonight.
Good concentration.
Yes.
Through the screen.
1-2 for Harrell as he tries to get Carpenter and end the inning, which started with 2 meek outs and then the double by Garcia. Runner goes. No throw from Snyder. On the steal by Jay is 19.
And Jay had a pretty good jump there. That coupled with the fact that I don't think Chris got a good handle on that ball as he reached in to take it out of his mitt. So he decided to shut it down and not make a throw.
2-2 pitch is ball 3 on Carpenter with Holiday coming up next. 19 steals for Jay, but the Cardinals have been caught more than they've stolen bases against the Astros in the season series. Phillies lead Washington 5-1. They played 4 in Philly. And that's a walk. Number 2. Let's check the NL wild card race.
What's happening out there? Cincinnati leads the Brewers 2-0 bottom of the 4th. The Brewers one of 2 teams 3.5 games behind the Cardinals. The Dodgers, the other one, start a little bit later on in San Diego. Josh Beckett for the Dodgers tonight against Edinson Volquez. And Atlanta with that comfortable 5.5 game cushion over the Cardinals. They're knotted up 1-1 with the Fish.
There was a story today that Dusty Baker had a mini stroke.
Yeah, I saw that.
Lucas Harrell came in to question something of home plate umpire Mark Carlson. They talked for a little while with Snyder. Apparently he did not know that that was ball 4 or thought it was ball 3, whatever. So it's Matt Holliday now. Holliday drew the first walk of the game. That was in the first inning. That's ball 1 to him. So the Redbirds, if they just keep chugging along, are going back to the playoffs, it would appear, with Milwaukee and the Dodgers both at 79 and 74, 3.5 games in arrears of St. Louis.
Cardinals leave here, go home, and they play their final 6 games at Busch Stadium against the Nationals and the Reds.
Davey Johnson says he's going to be resting some players the rest of the way, even against contenders.
And once he clinches the division outright.
Well, that's true. He has to do that first.
Yeah, he has to do that first. But, you know, and that's the norm. And a lot of times what a manager will do is he'll just, he'll give a guy, one of his stalwarts one day, the day off, and then somebody else the next day. It's not, unlikely that he'll shut down all his frontline guys. But just try to find some time off between now and the postseason to save their legs a little bit.
Nationals are 93 and 60 with a .608 winning percentage, the best in the league. It's 2 balls and a strike. Cincinnati 1 game behind Washington currently for the best record in the league. Washington's up against Cole Hamels tonight in Philadelphia. Chuch Ruiz hit his 16th homer. That's ball 3, and it's 3-1 on Holiday.
Atypical here. A lot of deep counts working from behind from Harrell. We have not seen that very often this year.
Ross Detweiler's pitching for the Nationals tonight in Philly. That's ball 4. Bases loaded.
Better to miss down or just off the edge than right over the heart of the plate against a guy like Holiday. But sooner or later, we're going to have to challenge.
And with 42 pitches, 22 of them balls, he gets another visit from Doug Brocail before facing Alan Craig, who's the major league leader in batting with runners in scoring position with a .400 average and 8 homers. Craig got the infield hit. The ball headed toward right field. Matt Downs launched his body towards second, got his mitt on it, knocked it down, but Craig reached on the hit back in the first. That's strike one. Harrell has said all along that the innings load really has not bothered him this season, but the Astros really want to be careful they don't go too far on his innings. He's at 183 for the year. Rolled out to Altuve's left. On over to Downs. And the Redbirds tack on a run. On 2 hits, they lead 3, and they're up 2-0.
For the game, his preparation is not exactly scientific for this game.
I aim for the Crawford boxes and if all else fails.
Thank you. His philosophy of going for the Crawford boxes as his game prep broke up his teammates Green and Snyder.
Nothing like a little fun at the old ballpark, Greg.
No, we were so scientific yesterday with Scott Moore, and I asked the same question to him, and he said, I'll just probably trying to hit it to the Crawford boxes.
Jaime Garcia leading 2-0, throws to Justin Maxwell. It's ball 1. 230, 17 homers, 50 runs batted in, and 5 for 8 lifetime against Garcia for Justin.
It could have been your pick to click tonight.
No. Was it your pick?
Close watching that baby down there.
Maxwell let it fly. He might have been aiming for some Crawford boxes there. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes with Downs on deck.
Yeah, Garcia's at his best when he gets into a rhythm throwing that sinker changeup combination down and away to right-handed hitters.
Mark him out looking. That's
Back-to-back sinkers there. He's off to a very good start.
He really is. He probably doesn't mind guys thinking about the Crawford boxes. He's not been plagued by home runs at all this year.
Yeah, he's the kind of left-handed pitcher that could really find success despite the numbers he has not yet in this ballpark. But his game plan would work here because you take advantage of those right-handed hitters in their greed to trying to yank the ball into those seats and just keep turning it over, down and away.
Foul by Downs. There's strike 1 to Matt. 201, 8 homers, 16 runs batted in for Matt. That's hit 179 against lefties in 95 at bats. There's a soft liner over shortstop. Caught that one on the end of the bat and produced a favorable result. He becomes the first Houston base runner here with 1 out in the second.
Well, in the general direction of the Crawford boxes,
Yeah.
as in left field, you see he's all pulled there. That ball's out away from him. He's still trying to yank it.
Whatever works. Now Brandon Laird will try to keep it going and follow Downs' single with something of his own at 3:04 with 1 homer, 4 runs batted in. Matt Dominguez is home with the flu, so Brandon gets a shot at starting again. Matt had to be scratched with that same problem last night. There's ball 1. Unfortunately, the flu bug is making its way around the clubhouse. Edgar Gonzalez is not 100%, but he's trying to get in line for his next start now. Fly ball to center. John Jay moving over. 2 outs. Fernando Abad's out with an oblique strain. The Astros could go back to a 5-man rotation, but then on the other hand, Harrell might be finished after tonight. So maybe Efrod gets a start. He'll need at least a couple of days off after 2 long relief outings here on this homestand, but he could be in the rotation in another 5 days.
Yeah, he could slot in there where in Abad's spot if he's not able to go.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, having Abad come out of the game last night, I just assumed he was done. You know, if the oblique was bad enough where he had to come out of that game, I figured he'd be done.
It sounds like he is. Chris Snyder, the batter. Hurts him more today than it did yesterday. There's strike 1 to Snyder, a 7 home run hitter with 24 runs batted in and a 179 average for Chris. So figuring that Abad will not pitch again, Astros have some thinking to do. J.D. Martinez will have his surgery for a broken hamate bone tomorrow. Marwin Gonzalez day to day with a sprained ankle again. That's the 3rd time he's had that problem, so you probably will not see him in the field again. 1 ball, 1 strike. Close enough to the end of the season now that you know, they try to protect players. There's really not much point in sending a guy out there if he's hurting. For a team fighting to make a playoff spot, it's different. The Molinas of the world play every day through bad backs and things of that variety. 1-2.
For Snyder, like Downs, a right-handed pull hitter who's looking to yank that ball to left field. And if Garcia is able to execute his pitches, it's going to be awfully tough on Snyder. If he makes a mistake up a little bit, Chris can get to him. But as long as he's throwing that sinker down and away, Chris trying to pull it, there's not a whole lot he's going to be able to do. Just hope he makes a mistake.
Both times Jaime Garcia has pitched here this year, he's allowed 6 runs. Gave up 6 runs in 6 innings May 5th here, and June 5th they gave up 6 runs in 2 innings, including 4 in the first.
Contributing to a first inning ERA of 7.5, but he went through the first inning in 1-2-3 fashion tonight. That second start was the last start he made before going on the 60-day DL.
That's ball 2.
Left shoulder sprain.
Well, Garcia, with that 5-7 record, has really struggled through the year with that injury you mentioned, and 26 years old, coming off a 13-7 year, a 3.56 ERA last year, just has not been able to duplicate those numbers. Had Tommy John surgery back in 08. This time it was the shoulder, though, as JD mentioned, labrum, rotator cuff. It's 3-2 now to Snyder, and an automatic go for Downs at first with 2 outs. So Garcia, with the career ERA of 8.87 and an 0-3 record at Minute Maid Park, has been handed the early 2-run lead. Jimmy Paredes on deck. And Snyder started to go, and in fact he did strike out. And that's strikeout number 3 for Garcia. It's no runs a hit, and the man left. It's 2-0 St. Louis.
Welcoming back to town tonight a very special guest. Sally Gunter spent 7 seasons working in the Astros media relations department, and she's back tonight. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Bart. It's nice to be back.
Are you getting to see some old friends?
I am. Saying hi to a lot of people.
Good. Well, so tell us what you're doing now and why you're in town.
Well, I work for Heavenly Mountain Resort, which is owned by Vail Resorts, and we are here tonight in Houston to just celebrate the fact that Vail Mountain is celebrating their 50th season this year, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the Astros 50th anniversary, so we're pretty excited about that, and we have 50 days until the ski season.
That's a sweet gig for you, let me tell you right now.
It's been a lot of fun, lots of skiing and riding.
So the weather perfect out there for what you do right about now?
It's actually snowing today in
There you
Breckenridge,
go.
Colorado.
So tell the fans how they can find out more about your resort and get in touch with you guys.
Well, fans should go to snow.com and learn more about the 7 resorts that Vail Resorts owns.
Okay. And so now tell us how much you miss all of us at Fox Sports Houston and all of us, the Astros staff.
I miss everyone with the Astros and with FS Houston, and special thanks to Wave.
Well, Sally, it's great to see you. Great to have you back in town.
Thank you, Bart.
Brownie, one of my all-time favorites. Sally Gunter helped us for all those years that she worked here and did a great job here. Back to you.
She really did. Yeah, it's great to see her again. 2 balls, no strikes to Beltran. And we may have to pay a visit in person out there. Sounds like a
little
great place.
shushing, Brownie.
Oh, why not? Or just sit by the fire and watch other people do that.
Sally said it's she's having a hard time getting a good steak out.
Oh, really?
A lot of very healthy people eating a lot of very healthy food, and every now and then she needs to have a big steak.
Have to deliver some to her once upon a time. That's a foul ball and out of play. As the green light was given to Carlos Beltran, but he couldn't do much with it. Now 3 ball, 1 strike count. Well, the Detroit Tigers have a shot at tying for first place in the AL Central. The White Sox have lost. Detroit leads Kansas City 2-0 after 6 in Detroit. Behind Anibal Sanchez. He hasn't done a whole lot since the trade, but tonight he is pitching shutout ball against the Royals and Bruce Chen. Miggy Cabrera 0 for 3 so far. It's going to be tough for him now to get that Triple Crown with Josh Hamilton back and ripping the ball again.
Yeah, Hamilton looks like he's on one of his runs where he goes deep every other day.
Hit a ball 441 feet last night.
Doesn't hit many cheap ones.
He does not.
It's just about all fastballs so far for Lucas. Maybe 1 or 2 changeups. I haven't seen the curveball yet. He's kind of pitched himself into a hole because of that. You know, if you haven't thrown that curveball and you've already got base runners on, you're hesitant to break it out for fear you don't have the feel for it, or you might make a mistake with it. But the Cardinal hitters can come to home plate with, you know, a certain degree of certainty that they're just going to see hard stuff. And again, he's a guy who can pitch that way to a degree if he's commanding that fastball. He's got the good sinker going and getting that cutter in on the hands of the left-handed hitters. He can throw 80% fastballs. Right now, his ratio is skewing high. It's like 94%. So he's going to have to find a plan B here in a hurry.
Descalzo, the batter. And there's strike 1 to him. Jose Oquendo brought him over for a few words before he came up.
Lucas has faced 15 batters, 9 of which have reached. He's lucky he's only down 2.
True. Descalzo worked the count 3-1, and then he grounded out to second. This one off the end of the bat to Altuve. Infield fly called. 1 out. And Pete Cosmo will be next. Toronto leads at Baltimore. It's 2-0. They have played 6. The Orioles a game and a half behind the New York Yankees. Aaron Laffey started for Toronto. He's out of the game after 5 2/3 tonight, and it's Joe Saunders going for the Birds. Cosmo hit the ball to center field his first time up. It's up for ball one. Harrell, the staff leader in wins with 10. Trailing here 2-0. He's given up 5 hits. It's line to second. Altuve with a flip to Lowry. Molina allows himself to be doubled off from 4 to 6, and it's no runs a hit and a man left. On the line drive, double play. 2-0 Redbirds.
Narrowed down to one singular moment, all-time greatest. Astros clinched the National League West title behind Mike Scott's no-hitter, defeating the Giants 2-0. The first pitcher to throw a no-hitter in a clinching situation. What a moment that was. JD was there and part of the celebration.
JD wearing a cardigan. Very, very stylish.
Yes, he was. This was also in 1965, the day that Satchel Paige, at age 60, pitched 3 scoreless innings, and the first Tommy John surgery was performed on this date in 1974 on Tommy John.
That is so ironic that he happened to be the first guy to have that surgery done.
Yeah, isn't it?
Crazy. Jimmy Paredes leads it off. It's 2-0 Cardinals. Paredes in the number 8 spot in the order, hitting 194 with 3 runs batted in. And there's strike 1 to Jimmy. Made the transition to the outfield this season, starting in right again tonight. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Jimmy had 37 steals for Oklahoma City this year. That led the PCL. How's that one? And it's 1-2.
Cardinals have to be a little frustrated. They've had opportunities to really extend this lead and have not been able to do it. Astros have a chance here to get a little something going against Garcia.
Garcia missing there. Goes to a 2-2 count with Lucas Harrell on deck.
He's showing some patience in this at bat, something we have not seen much of from him. He's usually up there hacking.
Right. Taps that one foul. Chris Medlin and the Braves are now in front of Miami 2-1 after 6. They just got a run in the 6th. Braves trying to win in the 22nd consecutive Medlin start. If they can do that, that's the longest string since Whitey Ford with the Yankees. From 50 through 53, they won 22 straight Whitey Ford starts. Last 10 starts, Medlin is 8-0 with a 0.76 ERA. Second sacker, Descalso over to first. Let's see who's hot now in the major leagues. Well, the Braves, they've won 21 straight Medlin starts. Edwin Encarnacion, 41 homers. And Cliff Lee has 15 straight starts of 6 innings, allowing 1 or fewer walks. Tim Lincecum, 6-3 since July 31st, 3.08 ERA. Henry Ramirez is not. 14 for 67. Dodgers are 11-16 since the 31st of July. Harrell with ball 1. Harrell with 9 hits and 56 at bats has a 161 average. Here's something crazy, JD.
All right.
Since July 31st, the 6 division leaders are the same as they were July 31st.
There's been no changing of the guard.
Well, there might have been, but they're the same.
Oh, they're back to the same.
Yeah, they're back to the same they were on July 31st. 2 outs. It's a little weird.
Well, remember earlier last week when the Pirates were in here, and we're talking about there's only so many wins in Pennsylvania. So as the Pirates went south, the Phillies started to win. And now the same thing's going on in L.A. The Angels are winning and the Dodgers are losing. There's only so many wins allocated per region.
Okay. Jose Altuve grounded out on the first pitch thrown to him by Garcia. Quite a thrill for him when it was named his day in Houston by Mayor Anise Parker today.
Yeah, no, what's that all about?
He was an all-star, and he was honored for that by making this Jose Altuve Day in Houston.
Whereas, therefore, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, will this forever be Jose Altuve Day going forward? The kids get a day off school and things like that?
They should. We'll take any excuse for that. There's the presentation on the field. Councilman James Rodriguez presented him with the proclamation during the pregame ceremony tonight. What a year for Jose.
Whereas Jose Altuve has lit up National League pitching and inspired us all with his hustle, despite the fact that he's built more like a jockey than a ball player.
Fouls away. Well, you can see the Cardinals would sign on to that kind of a proclamation with what he's done against them. 377 lifetime. And also Altuve's been very effective against left-handers. 353 against southpaws.
The Astros really have struggled against lefties this year. Altuve really the one exception, and Garcia, like Harrell, leaning heavily on his fastball. A lot of sinkers from Garcia. It's a change up.
2-2. That's a looping fly ball to right field. Oh, Carlos Beltran didn't get there. He's been bothered by some different problems. Knees, lower back. He just didn't get there for the catch, and Altuve's aboard.
And he never really got started. He got a terrible jump on this ball and then couldn't close. Perhaps the lights got it. You see it. He doesn't take his first step till our camera picks him up. Just a horrible jump by Beltran. Almost looked like he was distracted.
Yeah, it sure did.
Like his mind was somewhere else.
Altuve gets hit number 162 of the year. Strike one to Brandon Barnes. Barnes struck out looking in the first inning.
Well, that's a gift hit right there.
It sure
if
is.
you're pitching and you give up that, you're thinking, okay, we're heading to the dugout.
Sometimes the pitchers actually cross the foul line when a ball like that. No balls, 2 strikes. It's a little embarrassing when that happens.
Well, you have to fight your instincts to stare out at the guy, you know, to say, what's going on, man? You can't do that. That's bad form.
It has been done, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. We've seen it from time to time.
trying to remember that situation with Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson. Wasn't that over a defensive lapse, and then he came into the dugout and they got into it? They pulled him out of the game.
Yeah.
And Reggie came in and they had at it verbally. This one gets away, and Altuve will trot to second base. 1-2.
That'll go as a wild pitch. Altuve moves into scoring position. I think they got into it once too. Billy had actually given Reggie a bunt sign, and Reggie went deep. Oh. And then they got into a fight in the dugout over that one too.
Barnes strikes out. You know, those were two toxic personalities. That's number 4. And Garcia maintains his 2-0 lead. After 3, as the fans enjoy some time with Mickey. A sub prize on the line gives us a look at the American League divisional races. Just a game and a half lead for the Yankees over Baltimore, and Detroit can tie Chicago with a win tonight for the AL Central lead. Rangers seem to have things under control in the West with the 5-game margin over Oakland, but they have a bunch of games left with each other. Big cut by Garcia. He takes that big leg kick, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Not fooling around.
Nope. Very aggressive approach. He doubled and scored in the 2nd inning. Pulls this one back, and it's 1-2. The Cardinals have definite strong talent in their starting rotation. Whether Garcia would come in for a postseason start would be subject to a lot of debate, probably around St. Louis, with the likes of Kyle Loesch, Lance Lynn, Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter to start postseason games. Bouncer goes up the middle. Altuve.
Whoop. Took too much time.
Greg Lucas.
Hey, you know, we got something big coming to Minute Maid Park. The Paul McCartney Invasion, his on-the-run tour, is coming to Minute Maid Park. That'll be Wednesday, November 14th. Don't miss your chance to see him for the first time in nearly 7 years. Visit all Ticketmaster locations for tickets. Paul McCartney.
We thought you were on the run tour with your quick movement from your spot on the pregame show down to where you are now, as we showed that when we came on the air.
I thought I had it all down really well, and then I found out I left half the stuff I needed to bring with me back there.
All right.
It's practice.
That was the Band on the Run show.
Man on the run.
John Jay is 2 for 2. He takes strike 1. He's driven in a run and scored 1. Good night for scoreboard watching. Little pop-up sends Lowry out into shallow left field. Here's the way Greg Lucas had to hurry from the pregame set. We are shorthanded here, and Greg's going to be the guy for the rest of the season.
Even with September call-ups, they're asking Greg to do double duty.
What I like about this is the attendant at the bottom saw me coming, and he opened the gate. Look at that.
Oh.
I thought I was going to have to jump over it.
You had a deadline you had to meet.
Did anybody call you Milo when you were running through the stands?
No. That was only yesterday when a lady brought out 2 of the Milo bobbleheads and asked me, Mr. Hamilton, would you please autograph them?
Ground ball, Lowry to his left, spins and throws low. Good play by Matt Downs to the backhand side to make it a 1-2-3-4 for Lucas Harrell and a 2-0 Redbird lead.
Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the All-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box, a no-nonsense burger with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by the motion picture Looper in theaters Friday.
Cardinals 2, Astros nothing. Giff Nielsen stopping by to say hello. Good to see him again. And the Astros come up in the bottom of the 4th. We can use some Giff Nielsen karma right here with Jet Lowry. Yeah.
Giff's going to get us a W.
Giff can tell us
hop on, Giff,
how that call was blown in the Packer game.
What's up with that, man?
Is that crazy or not? Lowry bangs one out to center field. John Jay with a catch. Great to see you again, Giff. How's life?
I'm doing just great. I just I started my training to be an NFL official today.
How can that happen?
How can you do it? I mean, you know, you look at that play and you just say, what in the world were they thinking? And you know what? There was major indecision with those officials. One said no way. One said, yeah, it's a touchdown. But did you notice how long it took him to call the touchdown?
Yeah. Oh, it did.
And then the other guy who had kind of said no way then kind of morphed into this. It was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, you know, and it just ruins the integrity of the game. And it's not to say that every NFL official is going to get everything right. Obviously, that's not the case. But, you know, you just look at the way the games are being played right now. The players are getting away with as much as they can get away with, and these officials are just not do not have the talent to handle it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just tough to see a game lost on a play like that. They only have 16 games, and that's a setback, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what, if it magnifies itself during the course of the season, and Green Bay is in a situation where they can't get into the playoffs because of that game, it'll even be more of a sour note.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know this to be true, but I've heard a rumor that there are a lot of people out there that like to wager on football. People lost some money in that game last night.
Really?
Yeah, I heard the rumor.
Giff was shocked.
Jim, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You know, I had a guy come up to me the other day, and, you know, my big game was obviously that game in San Diego in 1979, and he shook my hand, and he said, "Hey, thank you. You paid for my mortgage." You're not supposed to say that.
No.
But
well, the statute of limitations.
Yeah,
is expired. And so you're going to be emceeing the Blue Star Gaelic, right?
Yeah. I feel so honored. I mean, Jim Crane called me today, and when you think of the magnitude of what Milo has meant for the game, what he's done here in Houston, along with the two of you. I mean, everybody involved in baseball here. We really seen Houston become a baseball city. It's not right now, and Jim Crane is trying to turn that around and get this thing back. But to be able to MC that function and to just think back of all of the great moments, all of the great times, and relive those and feel them and understand them and just know of the great times. There he is.
You're going to have a lot of fun, and folks will be able to, because a lot of people probably wonder, hey, what's Giff been up to these days? Haven't seen you, so that'd be an opportunity to.
It'll be great too. Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, you see the great one right there, Milo, and he is a great one, and he's not afraid to tell you he's the great one too. Yeah, that's the great thing about Milo.
And Downs hits a fly ball. Great to see you again, Giff. We can't wait to see you MC that banquet.
We will have a fun time together.
Great, thank you. 2-0 Cardinals.
Starting pitcher Bud Norris, he's been hobbled the last few days with some illness, but he's game. He's going to give it a shot. 7-5 versus the Cardinals. Not so successful this year. 1-3 over his career. He's got a 2.97 ERA and that 7-5 mark. This has been your Mazda Game Break.
Thanks, Greg. We go to the fifth inning of a 2-0 game. Matt Holliday leading it off. Taking ball one. He has walked both times he's been to the plate tonight. It's a little delay for the first base umpire, Angel Hernandez, to get out into his position. Harold gets the call there, and it's a 1-ball-1-strike count.
Two very good fastballs to start this inning. Earlier in the game, he was missing up quite a bit. Now it looks like he's settled in a little bit. Working the breaking ball a little bit too. He threw a couple last inning.
2-1. That's great that Giff Nielsen's going to MC that banquet. We haven't seen him in a while. He is really missed around here among television viewers, of course, sportscasts in Houston, but doing some fine work in the community. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and he's getting to play some golf too.
Yeah, it's good to be Giff. Nice little program working.
Reds 4, Brewers 1. After 5, the Cardinals will be doing some watching of that score. Slashed on a line, foul into the seats.
Look out now. Don't get hurt. There's only one more home game after tonight. Stay focused.
Vicious liner wound up in his hands. Interesting thing about this time of year, watching that hand-operated scoreboard out in left field here at Minute Maid Park. And I'm sure the Cardinals players are diverting their eyes to it every now and then to look at that Milwaukee score. 4-1 Cincinnati after 6. So they could be building a 4.5 game lead on the Brewers.
It's Johnny Cueto for the Reds tonight.
That's walk number 5 and the third to Holiday. And the other game of importance starts later in the NL wildcard race. Dodgers at San Diego with Josh Beckett on the mound with a later start.
Johnny Cueto looking for win number 19 tonight. He's 18-9. He's up against Mike Fiers, a fine rookie for the Brewers. Fiers has struggled a little bit lately after that great start.
Alan Craig is 1 for 2, an infield hit for Craig. Well, the Brewers have really gotten back into it, though. There's strike 1. They put on a nice burst. Nationals came into the night with a magic number of 5 to clinch their division title. Little dribbler foul. No balls, 2 strikes. The Oakland A's have a magic number of 8 for a wild card spot, but tough sledding ahead. They have 7 remaining games with Texas, 6 more after last night.
Trying to hold off the Angels, who've been playing very good baseball over the last month or so.
Yeah.
Oakland with a 2-game lead over mighty Angels of Los Angeles, Anaheim. So that'd be, I think, it's a great story for Oakland to get in. But if the Angels were to pass them up, it would also be really fun if Trout and Harper their clubs could both make good postseason runs, to watch those young guys under the national spotlight.
It would be. Broken bat flare into shallow left field. That'll dunk in for a hit in front of Maxwell. Craig is on, and Craig has 2 dinky hits tonight. See what's remaining here. The Orioles with 2 against the Jays, 3 against the Sox, 3 at the Rays. Detroit with 6 against Kansas City, 3 against Minnesota. Oakland with those 6 tough games against the Rangers and 3 against the Mariners. The White Sox play Cleveland and the Rays. 2 men on, nobody out now for Molina.
Yeah, it's 2 broken bat hits for Craig tonight.
Molina with a sac fly in the first inning and a single to right in the third, has delivered both times. And he's hit the ball to the right side of the field on both occasions. Cleveland beat the White Sox today 4-3. There's another liner to right field. Paredes with the pickup, stop sign at third, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. So Molina just keeps whacking away at the right fielder.
At times the Astros played a strong pull shift on the infield for Molina, but he has shown a willingness to go the other way. Again, he's all about trying to stay out of a double play in this situation, and the best way to do that is to make sure you don't roll over on one, try to pull a pitch that's out away from you. So he takes that middle opposite field approach, and that pitch really served him well. That breaking ball up out away from him made his job relatively easy to get the ball airborne. He's having some fun with Holiday over there. Come on, man, you can't score on that for me? Give me that RBI.
Chris Maloney, the first base coach, alongside Molina, who has advanced Holiday to third, and Craig to second with nobody out for Carlos Beltran. Third time the Cardinals have had the bases loaded. Beltran struck out looking in the first inning. He walked in the third.
Harold been under duress all night long, except for last inning. He went 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. Other than that, it's been just a ton of traffic.
Detroit has shut out Kansas City 2-0 to tie for first in the AL Central.
Who pitched for Detroit tonight, Brownie?
It was Anibal Sanchez.
Okay. Is Scherzer healthy? Is he taking his regular turn now?
Yeah. You know, Sanchez, since the trade from the Marlins to Detroit, had gone 3-6 with a 4.55 ERA. So now starting to deliver, but the other guy in that deal, Omar Infante, has a 286 on base average and 10 errors since he was traded to the Tigers. Xavier Cedeno is warming up. Counts 3-0 now on Beltran. Harrell really up against it here. Cardinals buzzing all around him.
Beltran had a green light in this situation last time and gets it again here. And boy, does this work out nicely.
Downs to Snyder to Downs. 3-2-3 double play. On a 3-0 count, Beltran with a one hopper to first. It's into the double play. Second double play for the Astros tonight.
Wow. You talk about living on the edge for Lucas Harrell. He's got a chance to wiggle out of this one because of this nicely executed double play. Wow.
So now here's the intentional walk to Descalzo. So the bases will be loaded again for Cosma. it plays again on that on that Jaime Garcia Carlos Beltran theme, with Beltran not being able to catch Altuve's single.
Yeah.
And now he hits into a bases loaded double play.
What are you doing to me, man? Swinging 3-0 and you ground into a double play.
Well, Descalzo is being put on to work to Cosma. Cosma's 0 for 2. He lined into a double play his last time up. And that's walk number 6. That's a high for Harrell in his career for walks in a game. That gives him 77 walks this year in 186 innings. Cosma hit the fly ball to center in the second inning, and then that line out into the double play. Anibal Sanchez going to 9-13 for the season with that 2-0 Detroit shutout of Kansas City, and Bruce Chen goes to 11-13. So Jim Leland's club has a share of first, and it is going to be pretty intriguing from now on out between the Tigers and the White Sox. They don't play each other. That's ball 1 to Cosma. You know, just looking at the wild card, there's more interest really in the two divisional races, AL East and AL Central, now than the wild card situation, I think.
Well, yeah, and especially that American League Central race, because whoever loses the AL East is likely going to be a wild card team, whether it's the Yankees or Baltimore. But it's win the division or go home for the American League Central club.
Yeah, that creates quite a nice environment for the fans.
You know, back in spring training, Detroit was probably the club in all of baseball, and most folks were saying, had the best chance of winning their division. A lot of people, they're going to go wire to wire. They're going to win this thing comfortably. It's been anything but.
A real struggle for Jim Leland's bunch. Way outside.
Of course, if they ultimately win the division, all of us who said that, because they see, we knew. Told you.
Yeah. 2-2 the count. Harrell wants to get him on this next pitch. He's thrown 86 pitches, 44 of them strikes. It's been a struggle for him to place the ball where he wants it tonight. Now he's gone full and the runners are moved.
Not getting that borderline call off that outside edge from Carlson. You can tell by his body language, there's been a number of times where he thought he's made his pitch, got in the corner, but Fox Tracks indicates no, just a little bit outside.
Molina's got a huge lead off second, and there's a ground ball. Altuve diving. He flops over and throws to first and gets him. Spectacular play by Altuve from shallow right field. Back from the groin problem with this gem. And again, the Cardinals leave the bases loaded. Have really wasted some other opportunities. They've left 8 men on base. AT&T has trivia. Who are the only 2 Cardinal pitchers Houston has defeated more than 10 times? Guys have been around a while then.
Yeah. Well, Bob Gibson's won more games against the Astros than anybody, but he may have lost 10 too. He pitched a good long while.
It would be one possibility. Let's see. Cardinal pitchers lost 10 times or more to Houston. All right, we'll let you work on that. Meanwhile, it's 2-0 as Brandon Laird leads it off. The Astros have been held to 2 base runners through the first 4 by Jaime Garcia. And Laird hit a fly ball to center in the second inning.
Somebody like Bob Forsch, perhaps?
That's a possibility. Great ball 1. Jim Crane told the media that the Astros have whittled their managerial candidates down to 3 or 4. And they hope to have the process to select a manager wrapped up either later this week or early next week. And the announcement of the hire will depend on whether the new manager is working for a playoff club or not. Bouncer wide of third. 2 balls, 1 strike. I said if the selection is involved with a playoff bound team, they'll have to wait until the playoffs are over probably to announce who it is.
Is that a league rule?
I don't know.
Something the league would prefer?
It's a good question.
Because it would, if it's a coach for a club, not a manager, that wouldn't be that big of a distraction. Wouldn't be a big problem.
No, sure wouldn't. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Somebody loping in from the Astros bullpen.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that's all about.
Corcoran might have been down there warming somebody up.
It's possible. We haven't seen that one before. Popped up. Alan Craig goes up the right field line, but the second sacker, Descalso, lets it drop and throws behind the runner, not in time. Laird is on with a pop fly. It was overrun by Descalso. And Yadier Molina was behind Laird. They threw back to first, but Laird got in.
Well, a sloppy game so far for the Cardinals, leaving all those men on base, not executing when they've had a chance to really blow it open, and now some misplays in the outfield. Beltran earlier not catching Altuve's fly ball. Now this pop-up from Laird, that play should have been made by somebody. Beltran, to me, looks very tentative out there tonight.
Yeah.
He's not even in the picture until the very last here.
Nope. It was not close to the ball. It's a pop fly hit for Laird. Now Chris Snyder. Snyder struck out earlier. Strike one to Chris. Jeff Luhnow says, I'm confident we're going to get a great manager. He said it's splitting hairs which one is better than the other. Really, it's about which one is a better fit for the organization at this point in time, given where we're going. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's almost always the case, isn't it? It's not, you know, there's plenty of guys that are qualified to do the job. Then it's just identifying out of that pool which one is the best fit for your club, whatever you're looking for. Sometimes you're looking for a kind of a hard-edged guy to, you know, change the focus in the clubhouse. Sometimes you're looking for a lighter touch. Clearly, in this instance, they're looking for a guy who's on board with their strategy in terms of implementing the sabermetrics and all the advanced information that they're gathering. Doesn't make sense to do all that homework up here if you've got a guy down there who doesn't want to implement it. And then you just button heads all the time.
Yep.
I mean, there has to be some creative tension. There has to be, okay, I see your point, but I mean, that's fine. I get that. But you know, you want a guy who buys into it.
2-2. The Astros like the job Tony DeFrancesco has done. Enos Cabell, Jeff Luhnow chatting in the general manager's booth right now. Who's the other guy, do you know?
I think that's the new international scouting guy, but I don't know that for sure.
Oz Ocampo?
I think so. But I don't know. There's so many new people here. But they need to put out a program. New Astro hires.
Yes. A little tap to first base. There's the out for Craig. Laird into second. AT&T trivia answer about those Cardinal pitchers who have lost 10 to Houston. 10 or more. Who are they? Bob Gibson and Matt Morris. Well, you got Gibby. Forgot about Matt. I didn't realize that the Astros had beaten him that many times, but they sure faced him a bunch.
Yeah. He's out of that same kind of mold as Wainwright and Carpenter, big, tall righties.
Yes.
With good sinkers.
Very good competitor. Nice career. Jimmy Paredes grounded out in the third inning. Now Laird at second base and one out as the Astros try to reach.
I walk around the press dining room every night. Think, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Does he work for us? Who are those guys over there?
Exactly. That's exactly what it's been like this year. A lot of new folks in the organization, analytical people. And Jim Crane was saying today that he's really going to focus on the minor league organization. Talked about the Greenville Club and some inroads the Astros made there. They want to stay in touch, visit those clubs, keep good lines of communication open. No balls, 2 strikes. Carlos Corporon, this is why he came in. He's going to be pinch hitting, apparently, for Lucas Harrell. He just ran along the warning track and then down the right field line to get ready for this pinch hit appearance.
Kind of like Gilu, only not as fast.
Grounder in the hole. Cosma throwing to first. What a play by Cosma. And he gets the speedy Paredes for out number 2.
Yeah, that makes that play even more impressive. The fact that it was Paredes going down the line. Cosma has not earned the reputation of being all that good defensively, but he's been pretty good from what we've seen. Nice job here cutting this ball off on the backhand side, then a good, strong, accurate throw to get his man.
Now Carlos Corporon is the pinch hitter for Lucas Harrell, who in 5 innings allowed the Cardinals 7 hits, 2 runs. Corporon at 257 has 4 homers. He's driven in 10. Harrell walked 6. One of those intentional. He had 1 strikeout. Through 88 pitches, 45 strikes.
He was a magician tonight.
He was.
All kinds of base runners. Just one big blow at the wrong time, and that pitching line could look a lot worse for Lucas. Which is ironic because last time out he was charged with 3 runs in 5 2/3 innings, and he really was pretty darn crisp in that start. Sometimes it comes easy for you, and other nights you just battle. Bottom line is he's kept his club in the game.
He has, and Carlos Corporon, who's pinch hitting for him, can tie it here with 1 swing. Corp is 2 for 2 as a pinch hitter with 1 RBI. He's had 70 at bats this season. He's hitting .214 right-handed. He looks at that one, and it's a ball from Garcia to make it 2-1. Laird the runner. The Astros have had 3 base runners so far off Garcia. They have been stymied by a lot of lefties this year.
Really should have 1 hit.
Yeah.
Beltran misplayed Altuve's ball. Laird's ball should have been caught. Legit hit. The Downs base hit to left.
Now 3-1. Jaime Garcia was drafted by Jeff Luhnow. Jeff was with St. Louis in the 22nd round in 2005. It's from Reynosa, Mexico, and Jeff would really like to mine the country of Mexico for the Astros now.
Pitched his high school ball in Mission, Texas.
3-2. You think it was a case of establishing residency across the border so he could face better competition?
I have no idea.
Don't know. There's the base runner with a 3-2 count on Corporon. Altuve on deck. To right field, Beltran backing a few steps. And in the 5th inning, it's no runs a hit, and a runner stranded at second base for the Astros. After 5, it's 2-0 Redbirds. Anybody who chooses to grab some, whether it be pink or blue. Meanwhile, pitcher number 2 is also waiting, and he is left-hander Xavier Cedeno. He's 0-1 with 1 save and a 4.03 ERA.
Well, he's got Jaime Garcia, the pitcher, who can swing it a little bit, and he's a left-handed hitter, and then a couple of left-handed hitters at the top of the order. So Cedeno makes perfect sense to get the start here, or get the ball here rather, in the top half of the 6th inning. See, lefties hitting just .232 against him.
Cedeno worked Friday night against Pittsburgh, 2/3 of an inning, pitching scoreless ball. He inherited 2 runners and stranded them. That was his 10th straight scoreless appearance, covering 6 1/3 innings. Garcia doubled inside the left field line and scored in the 2nd inning on a John Jay single, and he grounded out in the 4th. David Freese is describing his right ankle as even more sore today than he rolled it last night. So it appears that he will miss all 3 games of this series. That's ball 1 to Garcia. Cardinals a pretty well balanced club in that lineup. And if they get pitching, they are tough to beat. Daniel throws ball 2 to Garcia. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Well, it would be the Cardinals and the Braves in that 1-game wild card playoff as of right now if the season ended. Braves have said that Chris Medlin will take the ball for them.
Oh, is that right? They've already said that?
Yeah.
It'd be hard not to give the ball to Medlin. Second half of the season, nobody's been better.
Not sure who the Cardinals would pick.
Right now, it's on Carpenter's day.
Okay.
I think it just depends on what he shows them in these final couple of starts. We'll get a first-hand look at that tomorrow.
John Jay's on deck with the Redbirds up 2-0. They've out-hit the Astros 7-3. No errors tonight. Breaking pitch caught him looking. Strikeout for Cedeno. Bart?
Well, Brownie, the fans voted for it, and now it is here. Come out to Minute Maid Park tomorrow, and the first 10,000 fans will take home a J.R. Richard back-to-back 300 strikeout seasons bobblehead, courtesy of Xfinity. To be here for that one, get your tickets at Astros.com, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Back to you.
John Jay is the batter. He's 2 for 3. Hey, Bart, Kevin Eschenfelder just stopped by to say hello. And Giff Nielsen. We hadn't seen Giff in a long time. Sally Gunter's here. Allison Footer.
It's a parade of celebrities.
Yeah.
Star power here at the ballpark tonight.
Big reunion night for everybody.
Oscar's here.
Oscar Martinez. All the big names have shown up for this game.
He was hanging out on the roof across the way at Union Station.
How was it, Oscar? Enjoyed the experience. 1 ball, 1 strike for Cedeno.
I think if I were on the roof at Union Station and the roof was open at the ballpark, I would just want to throw paper airplanes in there all night long.
1-2.
You probably have a sign that forbids that.
We haven't been up there since they were building that place, right? That's poked out to shortstop. Lowry's there. Lowry takes care of out number 2. Jet said his knee is really feeling good, but the fact that he's wearing the brace really limits his movement at shortstop. The fact that he's able to come back and play now several games here at the end of the season, have some nice at bats, is going to put his mind at rest, I think, for the offseason. Matt Carpenter is 0 for 2 with a walk. And he's one of those stabilizing forces on the team, too. A more veteran guy than a lot of the players. Ball 1 to Carpenter. That brace.
Daniel dropping down a little further on occasion here tonight. Braves hung on to beat the Marlins 4-3. Medlin did not get the win in that game. Craig Kimbrell did. 4-3 the final. young second baseman Donovan Solano hit 2 home runs for Miami.
Ooh. 2 balls and a strike.
Know anything about him, Brownie?
Nope.
I don't either. First 2 major league home runs. Freddie Freeman got one for the Braves, his 22nd.
Really? Freddie's had a nice year.
See, now that would be a consideration. And again, I don't think Garcia's had the kind of year or has the confidence, or that Mike Matheny has the confidence in Garcia that he does in some of those other guys to hand him the ball for that one game, wild card game against Atlanta. But if he did, you could understand it with all the left-handed hitters, you know, Bourne and Freeman and Hayward, turn Chipper Jones around to the right side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chipper's good from both sides, but I think he's got a little more from the left.
Mm-hmm. 3-2 now. Mike Matheny is hoping he has to make a decision about a playoff starter at this point.
And I think in his heart of hearts, he's probably hoping that he sees enough from Carpenter the next couple of starts where he can go, oh yeah, big fella, here you go.
Exactly. It's a proven commodity. Strike 3. Boy, he was 3-1. And then it just didn't happen for Carpenter at all, as Cedeno dazzled him. Had a 1-2-3 inning. Cardinal fans have watched their club.
Oh, look at this guy.
He is changing in mid-form. Well, the Astros changed this 2-0 game. Have left the bases loaded twice. They scored in the first and second innings. And behind the pitching of Jaime Garcia, those 2 runs have held up quite well. As the Astros come up now in the 6th inning, their third look for these hitters at Garcia. It'll be Jose Altuve leading it off. He grounded to third and he singled to right. Altuve is now 5 for 12 in his career against Garcia. Takes a line drive right back over the pitcher and into center field. And that's hit number 4 for Houston. Good start to the Houston 6th.
There you go. 50th multi-hit game for Altuve this year. Tied for 8th in the league. A little chuck and duck here for Garcia.
Brandon Barnes has struck out both times tonight. Altuve with 33 stolen bases on. Showing bunt. Barnes looks at ball 1.
Not a bad idea. If you've punched out a couple times, you feel like you're not seeing the ball well off a certain pitcher. A little bit befuddled. See if you can get a bunt down for a knock.
Carpenter creeping in at third, a step in front of the bag. It's 2-0 now to Barnes. Brandon plans to go to winter ball in Venezuela and refine his game. Chad Lowry's on deck. Foul ball makes it 2-1 to Brandon Barnes. Cincinnati's batting in the bottom of the 8th, leading Milwaukee 4-2. Ramos Ramirez hit his 26th home run for the Brewers.
Got 50 doubles this year. Ramirez
50
does.
doubles.
Yeah. Ooh.
Barnes pokes a line drive over first base, but foul.
Good try. Good approach on that sinker away. We've seen a number of the Astro hitters tonight trying to pull that pitch and not having any luck. Altuve went right back up the middle on him. Barnes tries to go the other way. A lot of times if a team shows it's inclined to do that, the pitcher will have to make an adjustment, start to work inside a little bit more, and really that hasn't been the case tonight. Garcia hasn't had to come in with that fastball in on the hands of the right-handed hitters because they've been trying to pull his sinker away.
A little more gripping power. It's 2-2. Fernando Salas is warming up. With the Atlanta win, the Braves now have 89 wins and 65 losses. They are sitting pretty for a playoff spot as of right now. They began the night 5 games behind Washington.
Could pick one up. The Phils lead the Nationals 6-3. We're in the middle of the 8th in Philadelphia. What's going to make it a little tougher on the Cardinals, the fact that they have series with Washington and Cincinnati left, and both those teams, though in comfortable positions, still have something to play for. Namely, the best overall record and home field advantage throughout the postseason. Of course, that would be throughout the postseason because the National League won the All-Star game. They'll host the World Series. They'll have home field advantage.
3-2 pitch. Altuve's going. Swing and a miss. Molina's throw. In time. And it's a double play.
Yeah, he had to work around Barnes to make that throw and still was able to get it there in good shape. He was making he was pleading for interference with home plate umpire Mark Carlson. It looked like Carlson was going to give it to him.
Yeah.
It didn't matter as Altuve never got to second base.
Yeah, he got in the catcher's way of the throw. Stepping across in front of him, and Carlson made the call.
See, Altuve, it's a little tougher with the lefty on the mound in that situation, but I think you're better off just trying to steal the base. Go ahead on first move as if you're trying to steal, as opposed to waiting till he goes home and hoping for ball 4 or contact.
Lowry's 0 for 2. There's ball 1 to Jed.
Especially with Molina back there.
Yeah. Molina's absolutely phenomenal in throwing people out.
Almost 50%. High 40s. League average about 26%.
Hector Ambrose is warming up for Houston. That's sales high, 3-0. There's Ambrose getting loose. Lowry was talking about that BABIP stat tonight. Batting average on balls in play. He kind of likes that. Yeah. 3-1. We're talking about statistical measurements of players. And he likes OPS. It's a good indicator. So he doesn't know too much about wins above replacement. but he likes the idea of measuring a player offensively and defensively. But we talked about that BABIP, you know, major league average something like what, 280, 290.
Yeah, it's just year to year it varies, but between 290 and 300 I think has been the norm.
Kozma takes care of out number 3. It's no runs a hit, nobody left after 6, 2-0 Redbirds.
Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Hyundai. If it's stylish, intelligent, safe, and affordable, it's probably a Hyundai. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with products and services from AT&T. Rethink possible. Well, the action goes to the 7th. The Astros need to hold the Cards in check and then do some thinking of how it's possible to score some runs in the bottom of the inning. There's a party girl. She's going to have some pretty good food there.
Of course, you're far too busy to be getting in line for any food tonight, Greg.
That's exactly true.
And there's another busy person keeping score, just as Greg Lucas does. We go to inning number 7. It's 2-0 Redbirds. Hector Ambrose takes over for the Astros after Xavier Cedeno had a 1-2-3-6 with 2 punch-outs.
Yeah, very efficient and looked very sharp tonight, did Cedeno. Ambrose has had a couple of days off. As you look at his numbers as an Astro this year, pretty solid work. Strikeout numbers get your attention for sure.
Yes, they do. Ball 1 to Holiday, has walked 3 times. Last 6 appearances. His ERA has come way down. He's looking like a pretty good candidate for this club for next year at this point. Brocale likes his stuff.
28 years of age, from Orange, California. Pitched collegiately at UCLA. Throws both curveball and a slider to complement a pretty good heater.
16,943 the attendance tonight. Snap that one off. It's 1-2 to Holiday. Doug Brocale always assessing these pitchers.
Broke looks studious, doesn't he, with his glasses on down there?
Professorial look.
Dr. Brocale.
Bet he doesn't wear those when he goes hunting. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Better if he wants to shoot straight.
Johnny Cueto won his 19th. Cincinnati put away Milwaukee 4-2. St. Louis and Houston in a 2-0 game. We're in the top of the 7th. Bill Brown, Jim DeShays, Greg Lucas, Bart Ennis. Bart is back unexpectedly tonight, and good to have him back. Ground ball. Altuve to his left, throwing to Downs, and we now go to Greg Lucas himself.
Well, it's 2-0, but let's take a look at the game summary. It's really been Jaime Garcia most of the way. Got a couple of strikeouts early in the game. He has scattered just 4 hits. The runs have been scored on a double by Garcia. Actually, he didn't score it. He was driven in by Jay after a sacrifice fly brought in the first one. And that's where we stand. It's 2-0. 1 out here in the 7th, guys.
Cardinals have hit into 2 double plays. They have left 8 runners.
It's kind of the storyline is the opportunities missed by the Cardinals. And the Astros still very much in this ball game, down just the 2 runs. There's a 95-mile-an-hour heater for you.
Alan Craig has 2 hits, 2 measly hits tonight. The grounder on the right side knocked down by Matt Downs for an infield hit, and then a little dunker of a fly ball in front of the left fielder in the 5th inning. But he probably wouldn't describe him that way. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, one man's cheap hit is another man's I fought off a tough pitch, made contact, and was rewarded for it.
Yeah, they never talk about those lineouts. Good pitch there from Hector. It's 1-2. Cueto 19-9 now with a 2.83 ERA, pressing his case for a Cy Young award. Mike fires the loser 9-9.
That race taking shape. Gio Gonzalez, R.A. Dickey, Cueto, and Kimbrel probably the front runners.
Good race. Tap to second. Altuve in, quickly throwing. 2 outs. Aroldis Chapman got his 36th save tonight for Cincinnati, going to 93-61 now.
Nice play on the run by Jose. Thrown back across his body.
Braves got 2 in the bottom of the 9th to beat Miami 4-3, giving Kimbrel that win.
I'll tell you, another guy that's got to be in that conversation is Kyle Loesch.
Good point.
16-3 with a 2.77 ERA.
Lowry goes out Molina. 3 ground ball outs for Hector Ambriz, keeping it close. 2-0 Redbirds in the 7th. (2-0) the Cardinals lead it. Fans are enjoying the 7th inning stretch here at Minute Maid Park in Houston. 16,943 coming to see game 2 of this 3-game series. Tomorrow night is the finale for the Astros this season at home. Bud Norris and Chris Carpenter. And And Milo Hamilton will be broadcasting his final game tomorrow night with the Astros. We go to the bottom of the 7th now. It'll be Maxwell, Downs, and Laird against Jaime Garcia, who has held the Astros to just 4 singles so far. Maxwell has struck out looking, and he's grounded out to third base. Tampa Bay leads at Boston. It's 5-2 in the top of the 9th inning, with Jeff Keppinger hitting home run number 8 for the Rays. Strike 1 to Maxwell. Rays still on the fringes of the wild card race. They're 3 games out, and that sounds close, but it's late.
Yeah, when you get down to 8 or 9 games left, you get a lot of work to do. We've got to climb over a couple of clubs too.
Yeah,
it's one thing if you're just pursuing one team.
Sure is.
Garcia, the type of lefty that sometimes you're better off putting a left-handed batter or 2 in the lineup against, for fear of exactly what's happened here tonight. He's gotten into a real nice rhythm down and away with his sinker. Left-handed hitters would force him to change up his approach a little bit and maybe knock him off stride some.
Up the middle. Here's a jump throw, not in time to get Maxwell. Descalzo made a good effort, but Maxwell beats it out for an infield hit.
This is the 3rd inning in a row now that the Astros have had the leadoff man reach. Last 2 they couldn't do anything with it. Let's see what happens here. Nice effort by Descalzo. Good hustle by Maxwell.
A lot of action on that one. Maxwell's aboard for Matt Downs, who singled to left in the 2nd, and then he flied to left, so he's been in a pull mode so far. Downs is 3 for 6 in his career against Jaime Garcia with a homer. Strike 1.
He was thinking Crawford boxes there. Lift and separate, but it was a changeup, and he was well out in front of it. Mujica, Rebzinski, a couple of veterans warming up in the Cardinal bullpen.
Mike Matheny just keeps going to Mujica, keeps going to Boggs, keeps going to Mott. Into the final few days of the season. Popped up. Carpenter in from 3rd. 1 out. Greg?
Emily Ruppert. You know her. She's the host of Chevy Hometown Kids. I'm just surprised she never made it into the booth during the course of the year.
Yeah.
We could have really promoted her show. Well, the show's not about the scorecard. It's about the experience. Saturdays, 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston. You can visit HometownKids.tv and catch up on all the episodes you may have missed, guys.
Let's see. You have 6 more of those to read, Greg.
That's right. And she ain't going to show up in Chicago or Milwaukee, I can guarantee you.
Greg's got creative with that promo. Thought this time you were just going to say her name. Emily Ruppert.
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
You all
That's
know
it.
her. Brandon Laird takes strike 1. He's 1 for 2. Pittsburgh 8th, the Mets 6th. They're in the top of the 8th in New York. Pedro Alvarez hit his 30th for the Pirates. David Wright, number 20 for the Mets. He might be taking over their all-time club hit lead. He was within a couple of doing that. Don't know if he has any other hits besides the home run tonight.
Who's their all-time leader?
Boy, I forgot now.
It's not Kranepool, is it?
We think it is. So that's a long-standing record. Oakland 2, Texas 2. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning at Texas.
Challenge Laird with a couple of fastballs and hasn't pulled the trigger. A couple, if a hitter puts a swing on him as a pitcher, you're saying, why did I leave that ball there?
Tom Malone still in there for Oakland at Texas in a 2-2 game in the 6th. Chris Carter hit his 16th home run. Real battle for the A's to try to make it to the playoffs after all they've been through, but Malone has been a good pitcher for them this year and have to feel pretty decent tonight with him on the mound. That's off the end of the bat, out into right center field for Laird. Maxwell going first to third. And with one out, the Astros have something working with Chris Snyder due up.
Bloop single last time for Brandon. Now another one off the end of the bat. Finds safe haven out there in shallow right center field. And Maxwell flying around the bases. Scoots into third. Turnover fastball off the end of the bat. Really legging it out. I thought for a minute there he might tumble. He had going so hard.
Yeah, it's churning.
Yeah, Ed Kranepool, 1,418 career hits. David Wright came into play tonight just 2 behind.
Now first and third, and Chris Snyder has struck out and grounded out to first. Jimmy Paredes on deck. Now ball short. There's one, and a double play for the Cardinals. No runs, 2 hits, 1 man left. We go to the 8th, 2-0 Cardinals. Chevron will show you tomorrow night's preview. Finale for the Astros at home this season comes tomorrow night against the Redbirds. And it'll be Chris Carpenter and Bud Norris. Norris is 7-5 against the Cardinals with a 2.97 ERA. Carpenter's 8-5 against the Astros with a 2.62. Similar numbers. That's the matchup tomorrow night, 6:30 on Fox Sports Houston. For Greg Lucas, Astros Live, Steve Sparks, and Bud Norris. Bud has been told not to wear his cap for a couple days. He's had some kind of itching problem in his scalp. Had to go to a clinic at 2 or 3 in the morning a couple nights ago with that. And he's got some swelling of the glands there in the back of his neck. But he'll be pitching tomorrow night. Carlos Beltran, with the infield shifting around, playing him to pull, is 0 for 2 with a walk. Bounced into a double play with the bases loaded, nobody out on a 3-0 count.
It's IHS. Brother suffering from
IHS.
Itchy head syndrome.
Oh, okay.
Medical term.
Mitchell Boggs warming up for St. Louis.
Boy, it's been a tough night for Beltran.
Yeah. He just fouled the ball off a lady's beak. No balls, 2 strikes.
Misplay in the outfield. Bad night at the plate. Leaving all kinds of base runners. Six up, 6 down so far for the Astros pen tonight.
Wow. Tough night continues.
Yeah, I start to wonder if maybe he's a little sick.
Yeah.
He's under the weather. You just get the sense he's out of sorts.
I believe he missed a game in Chicago because of illness. Ambrose has retired all 4 since he came in, and picking up on what Cedeno did with a 1-2-3-6, as you mentioned. It's Descalso next. Descalso takes, and it's ball 1. He's 0 for 2 with an intentional walk.
So with that win tonight, Atlanta has clinched the playoff spot. You celebrate that? What do you do? What's the protocol there? You're still in the division race.
Well,
you clinch a wild card.
I think the manager kind of sets the tone on that. Some of them don't want to celebrate if that's all they've done, but if they still have the possibility of winning their division, they might want to hold off. There's a line shot into right field. Descalso is aboard. Well, I
think it would be cool if the players' parents came out on the field and made that little thing where they hold their hands over their head there, that little gauntlet, and then the players all run through.
Nice. Pete Kozma looks down at third base where Jose Oquendo is giving signs. He's 0 for 3. He was robbed by Jose Altuve on a bid for a bases loaded hit in the 5th inning, but instead it was out number 3. They lined into a double play in the 3rd on a ball he lined to Altuve. I guess they could celebrate. Ball 1. Not sure what the protocol is for that, JD, or if there is one. Well, Chipper Jones back in the postseason. One more round of postseason play for Chipper.
I would say you break open the bubbly, but you tell hey boys, we still got a lot of work to do here, so don't get carried away.
Yeah.
Enjoy the fact that you've worked hard all summer long to get to this point. We're now in the postseason. It's worthy of celebrating, but there's a bigger prize out there.
Sounds like a solid approach. Yeah, be ready to go tomorrow because we're not staying out all night celebrating this thing.
Exactly.
Not if you can still win the division mathematically. Chris Medlin has really been something for the Braves this year. Runner going here, and a fly ball goes up the right field line, slicing away from Jimmy Paredes. Jimmy's out of room, and it's out of play.
Cardinals put a hit and run play on there. Descalso breaking. Kozma trying to shoot the ball the other way. Looked like Altuve had coverage of the bag there, and I'm not so sure that I wouldn't have Lowry cover there and leave Altuve at home with Kozma up there. He has shown the ability to pull the ball, but the way Ambrose works the right-handed hitters with those sliders away, be more likely to hit the ball to the right side.
So it might be
on the pull side.
Yep. Throw goes over.
Tony D has pitched out quite a bit since taking over, so the Cardinals can't be or have to be concerned with the potential pitch out in this situation. 1-0, not so much. 1-1, they might. Instead, it's a throw over. Scales is not a real base stealer. He runs okay.
Ryan Anderson comes out to the on deck circle with the pitcher spot due up next. Runner going. Line drive over first base, looping upside the right field line, and it's in. And the fans reach over, don't touch it. It gets almost by Paredes as the run scores. He throws in toward third, and it's 3-0. Well, it works as Descalso takes off, and Kozma hits one just about on the right field line for an RBI double. And the Cardinals lead by 3.
Yeah, good execution, good call by Matheny. Again, watching Ambrose pitch, he sees a lot of fastballs and sliders away, and trusts his hitters that he can put the ball in play. And Kozma does just that with authority to right field, and that allows Descalso to come all the way around the bases to score a very important run.
And Now Brian Anderson is the pinch hitter for Jaime Garcia. Garcia going 7 innings tonight, allowing 6 hits, all of them singles and no runs. Garcia did not walk anybody, and he fanned 5. He threw 92 pitches, 60 for strikes.
Jaime Garcia hit a double down the left field line that was barely fair, and now this one from Cosma drives in a run. Garcia, after his 2-out double in the second, scored the Cardinals' second run. They've got good aim tonight.
Brian Anderson, the pinch hitter, with strike 1. Strike 2 rather. No balls, 2 strikes to Anderson. He's 2 for 8 with the Redbirds this year. Anderson's from Thousand Oaks, California, a 4th round pick of the Redbirds in 05, 25 years old.
Pretty fertile baseball territory. We hear that call a lot, Thousand Oaks.
This gets by Snyder. Cosma to third base.
Important 90 feet on a wild pitch. Chris could not close that 5-hole and keep in front. Now the Astros will pull the infield in with 1 out. Hard slider down in the dirt, couldn't quite corral it.
Infield in tight with a 1-2 count and 1 down on Anderson with John Jay on deck. Behind him, and it gets away. Well, it hit him. It glanced off Anderson, and Cosmo will be sent back to third. Hit batter. 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
Wow. That was crazy. It's a slider behind Anderson, and I think it hit the dirt and then kicked back. See, the spin brings it back off the front leg.
Sure did.
I think then ping-ponged off of Snyder.
Yep. Now Scott Moore is coming off the bench and going out to third base. Tony DeFrancesco in the process of making a double switch. And Wesley Wright's going to be coming in for a lefty on lefty matchup. 3-0 Cardinals. Back in a moment.
All the action of the 2012 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 5th. Wow, that's right around the corner. That's the wild card, and that's on TBS.
Could be the Cardinals and Braves in the National League. Scott Moore comes into the double switch. He's at third base, batting 9th. Brandon Laird leaving after going 2 for 3. Wesley Wright's in Laird's number 6 spot in the order with 2-2. His record a 3.31 ERA. He faces John Jay. Jay is 2 for 4 with an RBI.
Middle infielders were back. Now they crash.
Jay smacks one off Altuve, and the run scores as he gets the force play to Lowry for out number 2. But the ball was hit hard. He was drawn in, and Jay got that runner home. 4-0 St. Louis.
Yeah, fielder's choice RBI for John Jay, and tough break there for the Astros because Tony D had that infield crashing, and it looked like it was going to pay off. The ball hit sharply at Altuve. He would have had a play at home to nail that lead runner. A ground ball with a lot of steam on it kind of chewed him up, and he had to settle for the force out at second.
Cosma scored on the play. Altuve to Lowry on the force there for out number 2, and now it's Carpenter batting. And strike 1 to him. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Redbirds out in front now by 4 after being frustrated. They got runs in the first 2 innings and then left the bases loaded in the 2nd and 5th frames. They've out hit the Astros now 9-6. No errors in the game tonight. That's a strike for Wesley Wright, and it's 0-2. Still Oakland 2, Texas 2. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning. A very big game for the A's and also the teams behind them in the wild card. Tampa Bay has won. David Price winning his 19th at Boston. So the Rays can pick up a game on Oakland if the A's drop that one in Texas. 1-2. Price now 19-5 with a 2.56 ERA.
Sounding rather Cy Youngish.
It is, yeah. He and Johnny Cueto both joining the 19-win club tonight. And Holiday's on deck. Swing and a miss by Carpenter. And in the 8th inning, the Redbirds tack on 2 on 2 hits. They leave a man. They lead it 4-0.
Fox Sports. It'll be the 49ers and the Jets, or the Saints at the Packers. America's Game of the Week. NFL Sunday this weekend, starting at 11 a.m. Central on Fox.
Greg Lucas has now made another move, and he is getting in his miles here at Minute Maid Park tonight. He's back up the stairs, back out on the left field corner.
That's actually the tough move because that's uphill with these 2 bags.
Yeah.
That's the one that really gives you the workout. Yeah, that gives you the workout.
Well, you won't have to get your workout in tomorrow morning now. You're already set.
I'm in good shape.
Mitchell Boggs
golf
comes
cart
in.
or something.
Yeah, you need some assistance there. Maybe get him a three-wheeler. Have some fun with that. Jimmy Paredes is facing Mitchell Boggs. He's 4-1 in 74 games, 33 holds with a 2.34 ERA for Boggs.
He's been a busy man. Pitched all 3 games against the Astros in the series in St. Louis last week, and then he worked twice over the weekend in Chicago.
That's the problem with being on a contending team that has leads late in the season. For Mitchell Boggs, they get you up every night almost. 1 ball, 1 strike. When he got his 33rd hold on Sunday, he was the National League leader.
He's a hard chunking right-hander out of Dalton, Georgia.
Ground ball second, Descalzo. Is that the home of the Carpet Mills, Dalton, Georgia?
I think you're right. Might be the home of Harry Spillman, too. Or maybe he's Dawson, Georgia. I don't know. He's one of those.
Yeah, Harry's from one of the small towns in Georgia. You're right. Now Scott Moore, who entered the game of the double switch, comes in batting 9th. He's been on base in 17 of his last 30 plate appearances. And checking in at 261, he has 9 homers, 25 runs batted in, 467 slugging percentage for Scott. Tony DeFrancesco pretty impressed with the work of Scott Moore, saying that he's certainly impressed Tony as somebody who could very well fit into the 2013 Astros.
Yeah, the Astros have a lot of guys that are could be 2013 Astros. They have very few guys that are slam dunk. Oh yeah, they'll be on the club next year. You just don't know what the makeup of this team is going to be. But Moore has certainly shown some positive things.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Harry Spillman was born in Albany, Georgia.
Yeah, it's probably because that's where the big hospital was.
Okay, yeah.
Probably had to take a cart for 3 days to get there. I ever tell you my Harry Spillman turn on the stove, turn on the oven story?
No.
This was, I don't know, 86, 87, somewhere in there, 88, I guess it was. And we were having a Super Bowl party at Billy Dorn's house because all the wives were out on a ski trip. Yeah, it was 88.
Liner to left. That'll be in for a hit. So Scott Moore continues his surge. What did Harry do with the stove?
Well, so we're over at Billy's house, and all of a sudden the cable goes out. So we have to go to Plan B, and we load up kids, pots of chili, cold beverages, whatever we got. And we drive out to Alvin to Harry's house, and we're trying to warm up food and stuff. And there's this like silence in the kitchen. All of a sudden you hear Harry calling the door. Hey, Billy, how do you cut this thing on?
Uh-oh.
He didn't know how to turn on the gas stove or the burner on top of the oven.
Oh, okay.
He had no clue. He had never been in the kitchen in his life.
Scott Moore took his hitting streak to 5 games with that one. Now he's aboard for Jose Altuve. Jose is 2 for 3 tonight. That's been quite a run here late season for Scott Moore. Smash on one hop off Cosma. It kicks over toward the left field line. Moore's going to take a big turn. Yeah, no need to get to third on this, and he would have been in trouble. Now, as Altuve reaches, it's first and second and 1 out for the Astros. Ruled an error on Cosma, his second.
Man, that's a tough error. That ball was smoked.
It was.
Wow, that's a tough error.
Now Brett Wallace is going to pitch it.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that one get overturned at some point.
That could be. Wallace is pinch hitting for Barnes. So Brett is over his last 9. Comes up in a key situation here in the 8th inning with 2 on and 1 out, trailing by 4, hitting .257, 8 homers, 22 runs batted in. He was 0 for 2 with a couple of walks last night in the opener of the series. Lowry's on deck. Pulls this one. Diving stop by Craig. Altuve took off, and it's a double play. 3 unassisted double play on the diving play by Craig. No runs, a hit, an error, a man left, and it's 4-0 Redbirds. There, line drive by Brett Wallace. It seemed to be headed for the right field corner. Alan Craig with a diving stop turned it into a double play. Now Matt Downs has moved from first base to left field. Justin Maxwell has moved to center field from left. Brett Wallace takes over at first base after pinch hitting for Brandon Barnes.
And Mickey Story enters the game as the Astros' fifth pitcher here this evening. 23 times he's trotted out there. 0-1, 4.44 his ERA. 26 in the third innings. He's walked 9 while striking out 31. Those are good numbers. He's got Holiday, Craig, Molina due to bat for the Cardinals in their half of the ninth.
Holiday has walked 3 times and grounded out. Mickey Story features some good breaking stuff. Cardinals have 9 hits. The Astros with 7. Mark McGuire talking with his on-deck man, Alan Craig. Fastball away for ball 1. Wesley Wright in 2/3 of an inning. Allowed no hits, no runs with no walks, 1 strikeout. Hector Ambrose 1 1/3 innings. 2 hits, 2 runs. No walks, a hit batter, and a strikeout. Bouncer fielded by the third sacker, Scott Moore. 1 out. Angels got 2 in the first. They lead Seattle 2-0 after 1 with Zach Greinke on the mound.
Boy, he's been really, really good lately. Initially, he struggled after joining the Angels, and a lot of folks were thinking, oh, this is a bad deal. But he's really turned it on.
He has. Alan Craig is 2 for 4. You know, with all those deals that were made in late July, not too many have been impactful in terms of making a difference in the standings. There's strike 1. And certainly the Dodgers hope that their deal, even though it doesn't have them in a playoff position right now, might help beyond this year. And with all the salary they took on, somewhere in upwards of $250 million, they would hope for the years to come would yield good results from those trades, but not the immediate results that they had hoped for.
No, I'm trying to think what's been the best trade deadline deal so far. Is there one that stands out? Is there somebody that's been?
Well, Greinke has been very good
yeah.
for the Angels. I have to think about that. Brett Myers has done a nice job for the White Sox, setting up. Struck him out.
He just hasn't been used a meaningful enough role to compete with what Greinke has done. But a good hook.
Yeah. Nice pitch. Two hits for Molina tonight and a sac fly. A lot of hitters have trouble with Mickey Story's curve. Fastball foul back, strike one.
Yeah, and Mickey's not a real hard thrower, but he certainly has enough fastball to survive up here because he does have the good breaking ball. He's a guy who can show you slow curve, and then slow your bat down and jam you with a fastball.
That's way up in the air. Justin Maxwell over into left center field to retire Molina and make it a quick ninth inning for Mickey Story. 4-0 Redbirds. Bottom of the ninth coming. 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for Houston. Mitchell Boggs in the 8th inning. They go to Joe Kelly for the 9th now. Boggs in 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs. And Kelly is 5-7 with a 3.62 ERA. He was effective as a starting pitcher. He made 16 starts. He's been in 4 games as a reliever.
Good numbers down at AAA this year. Hard throwing right-hander. So with a 4-run lead, Mike Matheny opts to try to finish it off without going to his closer Jason Mott. There is action in the Cardinal bullpen, and I suspect Mott is one of those 2 right-handers that's up throwing in just in case mode.
There he is on the right.
Marte, the other one. Marte.
Mott is getting ready with a sense of urgency there as Kelly comes in, but Kelly could give him a night off. Lowry, Maxwell, and Downs due up against Joe Kelly, who is 23 years old from Anaheim, California. He went to UC Riverside. He was drafted in the 3rd round in 2009. Last year pitched at Palm Beach and Springfield, and now he's been in the big leagues for a while now and doing nicely, as they had to go to him as a starter to fill in for injured starters in their rotation.
And they like his upside. Think he has a real good future in their rotation. He's a 4-pitch pitcher. Starts it all off with a 94-mile-an-hour heater.
Strike zone
in this instance, but he averages 94. He's got a slider, curve, and a changeup. Mott out there, they probably told him, okay, just get hot, get to the point where you just need, whatever you need on the mound, on the game mound to get ready, then just kind of shut her down.
Lowry with a fly ball to left. Holiday under it. That's 1 out for Kelly. And by using Kelly, and they had some other young pitchers, Shelby Miller is another one. They can take the load off these guys who normally pitch the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings for them, try to save them for a tighter situation.
Yeah, there was a game over in St. Louis where they tried to do it. It was a 5-0 game, and Kelly came in and he gave up a run or two, and the Astros had a couple of base runners, and they ended up bringing Mott in to finish off the game, and then Mott wasn't available for the first game against the Cubs in the ensuing series, a game that the Cardinals lost. They blew a 4-2 lead. When Mott wasn't available, and I think that's a mistake a lot of managers make, is they're too quick to the closer. They don't trust somebody else to get through an inning. And the clock at 98. I know it's a tough call, because if you don't go to your closer and you end up losing the game, you're going to face a lot of criticism.
Ground ball on one hop. Carpenter, 2 outs. And the Cardinals, with 8 shutouts from their staff, are now away from number 9 of the season. Well, Mike Matheny's Redbirds, who are trying to win their 84th of the year.
I'd be curious to know what the ERA is for Cardinal starters against the Astros.
Oh boy. Overall, they have an ERA of 3.00. Figure that up for tomorrow. Matt Downs is 1 for 3. Lately, it's been lights out, hasn't it?
Yeah. Got one off Lynn last night. Did very little against the starters in the series in St. Louis.
It's 2 balls, no strikes. Yeah, that St. Louis series was very, very good for them. Kyle Loesch, 7 shutout innings. Lance Lynn, 6 1/3 against the Astros in St. Louis. Jaime Garcia, 3 runs in 6 innings. That's up the line and foul territory. Alan Craig over, can't make it. 2 balls and a strike. And you know, you'd think that their starters ERA against the Astros would be fantastic, but Jaime Garcia is the one guy.
That's right, yeah. There's a couple really ugly ones earlier.
2-1 now. Yankees have a chance to be among the big winners of the night in terms of putting distance between themselves and their nearest pursuer, but now they've fallen behind. Foul ball, 2-2. At Minnesota, the Twins just got 4 in the bottom of the 7th, and they lead the Yanks now 5-3 after 7. Oakland and Texas take a 2-2 game to the 8th in Arlington. Dodgers and Padres, no score after 2.5. Boy, that's quite a fastball. And Joe Kelly turns out the lights on the Astros, getting the final 3 outs of this combined shutout for the Redbirds, a 7-hitter. They win it tonight. Jaime Garcia going to 6 and 7, beating Lucas Harrell. Final score: Cardinals 4, Astros nothing.